Hello, we are reading Shōbōgenzō, and I realised when I watched one of my videos back that I'm flipped on the camera. You're looking at me the wrong way around, and the writing on Master Dōgen's Shōbōgenzō book is the wrong way around, and I don't know how to flip that on a phone. Sorry, when it's in selfie mode. So apologies for looking at my face in a reflection. I don't know why that might be important, but maybe it is. Reality in all its many forms. We are on chapter 8. We are up to Raihai tokuzui, prostrating to attainment of the marrow. Raihai means to prostrate oneself to, toku means to get or to attain, and zui means marrow. So Raihai tokuzui means prostrating oneself to attainment of the marrow. In other words, revering what has got the truth. In this chapter, Master Dōgen preached to us that the value of a being must be decided according to whether or not it has got the truth. So he said, even if it is a child, a woman, a devil, or an animal like a wild fox, if it has got the truth, we must revere it wholeheartedly. In this attitude, we can find Master Dōgen's sincere reverence of the truth and his view of men, women, and animals. In practicing the state of Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi, the most difficult thing is to find a guiding teacher. Though beyond appearances such as those of a man or a woman, the guiding teacher should be a big, stout fellow and should be someone ineffable. He is not a person of the past and present, but may be a good counsellor with the spirit of a wild fox. These are the features of someone who has got the marrow. He may be a guide and a benefactor. He is never unclear about cause and effect. He may be you, me, him, or her. Having met with a guiding teacher, we should throw away myriad involvements and, without wasting a moment of time, we should strive in pursuit of the truth. We should train with consciousness, we should train without consciousness, and we should train with semi-consciousness. Thus, we should learn walking on tiptoes to put out a fire in our head. When we behave like this, we are unharmed by abusive demons. The patriarch who cuts off an arm and gets the marrow is never another, and the master who gets free of body and mind is ourself already. Getting the marrow and receiving the Dharma invariably come from sincerity and from belief. There is no example of sincerity coming from outside, and there is no way for sincerity to emerge from within. Sincerity just means attaching weight to the Dharma and thinking light of one's own body. It is to get free from the secular world and to make one's home the state of truth. If we attach even slightly more weight to self-regard for the body than to the Dharma is not transmitted to us, and we do not attain the truth. Those resolute spirits who attach greater weight to the Dharma are not unique, and they do not depend upon the exhortation of others. But let us take up for the present one or two instances. It is said that those who attach weight to the Dharma will make the body and mind into a seat on the floor, and will serve for countless kalpas whatever is maintaining and relying upon the great Dharma, whatever has got my marrow, whether it is an outdoor pillar, whether it is a stone lantern, whether it is the Buddhas, whether it is a wild dog, a demon, or a god, a man, or a woman. Bodies and minds are easily received. They are as common in the world as rice, flax, bamboo, and reeds. The Dharma is rarely met. Shakyamuni Buddha says, "When you meet teachers who expound the supreme state of Bodhi, have no regard for their race or caste, do not notice their looks, do not dislike their faults, and do not examine their deeds. Only because you revere their prajna, let them eat hundreds and thousands of pounds of gold every day. Serve them by presenting heavenly food. Serve them by scattering heavenly flowers. Do prostrations and venerate them 3 times every day, and never let anxiety or annoyance arise in your mind. When we behave like this, there is always a way to the state of Bodhi. Since I established the mind, I have been practicing like this, and so today I have been able to attain Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. This being so, we should hope that even trees and stones might preach to us, and we should request that even fields and villages might preach to us. We should question outdoor pillars, and we should investigate even fences and walls. There is the ancient example of the god Indra prostrating himself to a wild dog as his master and asking it about the Dharma. His fame as a great bodhisattva has been transmitted. Fitness to be asked does not rest upon the relative nobility of one's station. Nevertheless, stupid people who do not listen to the Buddha's Dharma think, I am a senior bhikksu, I cannot prostrate myself to a junior who has got the Dharma. Or, I have endured long training, I cannot prostrate myself to a recent student who's got the Dharma. Or, I sign my name with the title of master, I cannot prostrate myself to someone who does not have the title of master. Or, I am an administrator of Dharma affairs, I cannot prostrate myself to lesser monks who have got the Dharma. Or, I am the chief administrator of monks, I cannot prostrate myself to laymen and laywomen who have got the Dharma. Or, I am a bodhisattva of the 3 clever stages and 10 sacred stages. I cannot prostrate myself to bhikksunis and other women, even if they have got the Dharma. Or, I am of royal pedigree. I cannot prostrate myself to the family of a retainer or to the lineage of a minister, even if they have got the Dharma. Stupid people, like these, have heedlessly fled their father's kingdom and are wandering on the roads of foreign lands. Therefore, they neither see nor hear the Buddha's truth. Long ago, in the Tang dynasty, great master Shinsai of Joshu established the mind and set off as a wayfarer. In the story, he says, I shall question anyone who is superior to me, even a child of 7, and I shall teach anyone who is inferior to me, even a man of 100. The old man is willing to prostrate himself on asking a 7-year-old about the Dharma. This is a rare example of a resolute spirit and the working of the mind of an eternal Buddha. When a bhikshuni who has got the truth and got the Dharma manifests herself in the world, bhikshus who seek the Dharma and learn in practice will devote themselves to her order, prostrating themselves and asking about the Dharma. This is an excellent example of learning in practice. For instance, it is like the thirsty finding drink. The Chinese master Shikan is a venerable patriarch in Rinzai's lineage. Once upon a time, Rinzai sees the master coming to visit and holds on to him. The master says, "It is understood." Rinzai lets go and says, "I will allow you to stop for a while." From this point on, he has already become Rinzai's disciple. He leaves Rinzai and goes to Matsuzan, at which time Matsuzan asks him, "Where have you come from?" The master says, "The entrance of the road." Matsuzan says, "Why have you come here without anything on?" The master has no words. He just prostrates himself, bowing as a disciple to teacher. The master asks a question back to Matsuzan. "Just what is Matsuzan?" Matsuzan says, "Matsuzan never shows a peak." The master says, "Just who is the person within the mountain?" Matsuzan says, "It is beyond appearances, such as those of a man or a woman." The master says, "Then why do you not change your form?" Matsuzen says, "I am not the ghost of a wild fox. What might I change?" The master prostrates himself. Eventually he decides to work as the head of the vegetable garden and works there altogether for 3 years. Later, when he has manifested himself in the world, he preaches to the assembly. "I got half a dipper at old Papa Rinzai's place, and I got half a dipper at old Mama Matsuzen's place. Making a dipper with both halves, I have finished drinking, and having arrived directly at the present, I am completely satisfied." Hearing these words now, I look back on the traces of those days with veneration for the past. Matsuzen is an excellent disciple of Koan Daigu. She has power in her lifeblood, and she has become Shikan's Ma. Rinzai is an authentic successor of Obaku Kiyun. He has more power in his efforts, and so he has become Shikan's Pa. Pa means father and Ma means mother. Zen Master Shikan's prostration to and pursuit of the Dharma and a nun Matsuzen Ryonen are an excellent example of a resolute spirit and integrity that students of later ages should emulate. We can see that he broke all barriers, large and small. Nun Myoshin is a disciple of Kaiozan. Kaiozan, on one occasion, is choosing the chief of the business office. He asks around the retired officers and others on Kaiozan Mountain, who is the right person? They discuss it back and forth, and eventually Kaiozan says, "Disciple Myoshin from the Wai River, though a woman, has the spirit of a big stout fellow. She is certainly qualified to be chief of the business office." All the monks agree. So at length Myoshin is assigned as chief of the business office. The dragons and elephants in Kaiozan's order do not resent this. Though the position is in fact not so grand, the one selected for it might need to love herself. While she is posted at the business office, 17 monks from the Shoku district form a group to visit teachers and seek the truth, and intend to climb Kaiozan Mountain. They lodge at dusk at the business office. In a nighttime talk, while resting, they discuss the story of the founding patriarch Sokai and the wind and the flag. The words of each of the 17 men are totally inadequate. Meanwhile, listening from the other side of the wall, the chief of the business office says, "Those 17 blind donkeys, how many straw sandals have they worn out in vain? They have never seen the Buddha Dharma even in a dream." A temple servant present at the time overhears the chief of the business office criticizing the monks and informs the 17 monks themselves. But none of the 17 monks resents the criticism of the chief of the business office. Ashamed of their own inability to express the truth, they at once prepare themselves in a dignified form, burn incense, do prostrations, and request her teaching. The chief of the business office says, "Come on up here." The 17 monks approach her, and while they are still walking, the chief of the business office says, "This is not wind moving, this is not a flag moving, and this is not mind moving." When she teaches them like this, the 17 monks all experience reflection. They bow to thank her and have the ceremony to become her disciples. Then they go straight back home to Western Shoku. In the end, they do not climb Kaiozan Mountain. Truly, the state demonstrated here is beyond bodhisattvas at the 3 clever and 10 sacred stages. It is action in the truth as transmitted by Buddhist patriarchs from authentic successor to authentic successor. Therefore, even today, when a post as master or assistant master is vacated, a bhikkhuni who has got the Dharma may be requested to fill it. Even if a bhikkhu is senior in years and experience, if he has not got the Dharma, what importance does he have? A leader of monks must always rely upon clear eyes. Yet many leaders are drowning in the body and mind of a village bumpkin. They are so dense that they are prone to be derided even in the secular world. How much less do they deserve to be mentioned in the Buddha Dharma? Moreover, there may be men who would refuse to prostrate themselves to women monks who are teachers that have received the Dharma, and who are the men's elder sisters, aunts, and so on. Because they do not know and will not learn, they are close to animals and far from the Buddhist patriarchs. When the sole devotion of a body and mind to the Buddha Dharma is retained deep in a person's consciousness, the Buddha Dharma always has compassion for the person. Even human beings and gods, in their stupidity, have the sympathy to respond to sincerity. So how could the Buddhas, in their rightness, lack the compassion to reciprocate sincerity? The sublime spirit, which responds to sincerity, exists even in soil, stones, sand, and pebbles. In the temples of the great kingdom of Sung today, if a resident bhikkhuni is reputed to have got the Dharma, the government issues an imperial edict for her to be appointed master of a nun's temple, and she gives formal preaching in the Dharma hall of her present temple. All the monks, from the master down, attend the formal preaching. They listen to the Dharma, standing on the ground, and questions are also put by the bhikshus, the male monks. This is a traditional standard. A person who has got the Dharma is one individual, true eternal Buddha, here and now, and as such should be met as someone from the past. When that person looks at us, we meet each other in a new and singular state. When we look at that person, the mutual relation may be today having to enter today. For example, when arhats, pratyeka Buddhas, and bodhisattvas at the 3 clever and 10 sacred stages come to a bhikkhuni who is retaining the transmission of the right Dharma eye treasury to prostrate themselves and to ask her about Dharma, she must receive those prostrations. Why should men be higher? Space is space. The 4 elements are the 4 elements. The 5 aggregates are the 5 aggregates, and women are also like this. As regards attainment of the truth, both men and women attain the truth, and we should just profoundly revere every single person who has attained the Dharma. Do not discuss man and woman. This is one of Buddhism's finest Dharma standards. Thanks for listening.